Effective communication is an important skill you will need in your daily life. In a university presentation, at a work reunion, or maybe for conquer the couple of your life. To communicate effectively, it is necessary to surpass the obvious objective, to exchange information. You will need to deliver the message clearly and listen well what the other person is answering to your message. The other must feel heard and understood. Some of the most common obstacles to communicating effectively are to stress to a point where you go out of control. You must try to remain calm, to lose focus while you speak. If you lack your attention on what you are saying or on what you are listening to, maybe you will miss nonverbal expressions that keeps you on matter. Effective communication does not go well with multitasking. Contradictions on body language regarding to what you are saying, it will feel like you are being dishonest. Another barrier is when you disagree with what is being said. This is a situation when you unconsciously might use negative body language. There are 4 basic skills will help you to communicating effectively. The first one is to become an engaged listener. When we are communicating with others, there is not only important to focus on saying the message clearly. It is also equal, if not more important, to listen well. What means not just to limit to listen the message, but to pay attention to the emotions and not verbal expression the speaker is doing. Many times, the emotion of the speaker is expressed to the listener. For example, if the speaker is really calm, the listener puts on a calm mood too. There are some tips that will help you to improve this first skill. Favor your right ear because it is connected to the left side of the brain that it oversees speech comprehension and emotions. Show interest in what is being said with facial and body expressions. Provide feedback refers to express a disconnection in the message, paraphrasing what has been said, like, what I'm hearing is... The second skill is to pay attention to nonverbal signals. That are variables such as eye contact, posture, the tone of your voice, expressions, and some others. It is possible to develop this skill by using open body language to emphasize your verbal. Also, by being aware of individual differences like the culture, gender, age, etc. Look at nonverbal signals as a group. Use nonverbal expressions that match up with your words and to the context. For example, it should be different to speak to a child than to a group of adults. And as a last tip, you must try to avoid negative body language, mostly when you are nervous or stressed. The third skill is related to stress, to keep it in check. This skill takes its relevance on important situations such as job interviews, business presentations, or meeting in person, for example. In those situations, you will have to act under pressure, so it is important to take some breaths, stay calm, and follow some tips. You could use stalling tactics. This is to give yourself some space to think. Pause, collect your thoughts, leave some time silence, quickly recap your ideas and continue. Make one point Do not shuffle points of view or make very long answers. Deliver your words clearly. Maintain an even tone and pronounce well. And last tip, finish with a brief summary. For being able to use those tips, you may need to identify when you are becoming stressed out. So in order to recognize stress, you could ask yourself, are my hands clenched? Are my muscles or stomach tight? If the answer is yes, you may have to take a moment to calm down. And to do it, you can use your senses to rescue you, like smelling something strong and soothing, or listening to a good song. Also, you could look for humor in the situation, and if you feel stress caused by a strong argument, you both might vent a little about the disagreement, or agree to disagree in order to calm down. And finally, as last skill, there is to assert yourself. To communicate effectively, assertive expressions can boost your delivery message clarity. This means to expose your thoughts, feelings, and needs in a wide way by being consistent with your ideas. With the aim of develop this skill, you can start by practicing in lower risk situations. To increase your confidence, you may practice being empathetic, meaning to convey sensitivity to other person. Escalating assertion, meaning to increase your firm position about the matter of the discussion. Some other tips you could use are to value yourself and your options. Know your needs and your wants. Express what you disagree on in a respectful way. Receive feedback in a calm and learn to say no by knowing your limits. Some good example of effective communication is the commencement address the Naval Admiral William Harry McRaven, 9th Commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command, gave at the University of Texas at Austin for the class of 2014. I will highlight the 4 skills for effective communication in the given speech. At first moment, as the skill 1, the Admiral became an engaged listener. By focus his attention on the speaker hearing the emotion behind the specific situation a graduation demands. He remembers the past moment when he was in the same situation that the public of the speech were. He compromises with the listener by showing interest of doing a memorable speech and use his experience like feedback to do better. He mentions that he does not have a clue of who was his commencement address speaker. The second skill, paying attention to nonverbal signals, Admiral used it by expressing his ideas explicitly and reinforcing them with his body language of the hands and the facial expressions. Also, those nonverbal signals match up the age and emotions of the audience. For the third skill, that is about keeping stress in check, Commander McRaven do some pauses during his speech in order to calm down and do not break apart the rhythm of the speech. He delivered the words clearly, especially those that are non-commonly used in the context. And at the end of the speech, he recaps with a brief summary of the 10 lessons he communicates. Finally, Admiral McRaven makes use of the fourth skill, assert yourself, by giving a high value to his experiences that he thought can be lessons for life. He communicates with empathetic assertions, having in mind the context and the specifics of the audience. Ultimately, McRaven received feedback and decided to publish his speech in a book.